Welcome to Keiser Voices, the story of success, brought to you by Keiser University Graduate School, here where the academic world meets personal triumph. Join us today as we dive into the captivating tales of success.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Keiser Voices. We are wrapping up our conversations on AI with a special guest who's been trying to get on the podcast for a while now since it started. We're excited it finally aligned to have Mr. Marcel Laronde, who is our Director of Instructional Design and Blackboard System Administration, and he's joining us to talk about tech that makes a difference, tools that are being used to improve the education experience here at Keiser University. Marcel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and sorry it took so long to join you.
So we've been really talking a lot about AI this month, really exploring it from different avenues, perspectives, what's out there, like the goods, the bads. But is AI a tool that we're seeing being effective in its implications with improving the productivity and efficiency in the education system?
Yes, it is. In higher education, the most effective tools are the ones that scale quality while, reducing manual tasks. And right now, that is an integration between the systems that we use in higher ed and AI. So AI is more and more being integrated within these systems to improve these kinds of things, activities, daily tasks, and so forth. In my role, the LMS is where that all ties in. And AI is completely being integrated into the Blackboard LMS at this point. We have things like AI conversations where we could create these Socratic questioning or role-playing agents that we could have students engage with for different concepts or different ideas that we'd like to impart to those students. And it allows them to actually engage again and again with those specific AIs to improve their questioning, prompting, or what they ask the AI to determine if what they're asking is going to give them the outcome they need for the assignment or the discussion, things along those lines. We also have AI automations, which is built into the LMS as well. This affords the instructors to have automated responses to students. Again, with AI, you always have to have really good checks. So the faculty do have the ability to check and ensure that what's being sent out to the student aligns with what they want to be sent out. So there are those checks and balances in there. And we are in the process of also adding AVA, which is another product within Blackboard, which is the artificial virtual agent that will allow not only students to actually have somewhat of a means by which they could engage with the AI and ask questions about what's happening in their course, certain things along those lines, and more things are being added to that as well. But it also assists the instructor. So an instructor could be potentially using that to aid them in creating specific activities as well.
What are some other tools or apps that have significantly enhanced the routines, whether it's just daily routines? I mean, even your team goes into the system daily and are actively doing things, or even when it comes to like the faculty work, when we look at the education system.
Again, within my role in Blackboard, there has a tool called AI Design Assistant. So in the past, instructors, if they're trying to create an assignment, a discussion, anything along those lines, they would have to literally start from scratch, potentially use something from a publisher, try to write that out for that student. With the AI Design Assistant, it allows them to generate these discussions, assessments of specific modules dynamically. So they just provide the base content within that course. So if it's a specific module, they could drop that content in and ask the AI to generate those types of things off of the content they provided. So not only is it ensuring that it aligns to the content that they're supposed to be covering for that week, the instructor, could ensure that they get some more innovative approaches on how they could either have interaction via discussions or the assignment itself. And again, always is the case with AI, it has checks in place so that they can review to assure that it aligns firstly to the objectives for the course, and obviously it meets the level, the threshold, and so forth for that specific assignment based on being a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 level course, as well as time on task. So it allows them to do all that within the click of a button, whereas it would have taken them time to actually generate those. So it does improve that. Again, like I said, with Ava and Blackboard, they have that as well, where they have the virtual assistant to aid the student in trying to find things, activities, tasks that they need to do, so they don't spend time clicking through the courses to try and see where those things are. And those tools play a major role in reducing stress for the students and the instructors, because if you have a class of 20 students in a 4,000 level course or a doctoral course, there could be a lot of reading that needs to take place. It does not remove the requirement for the instructor to actually look through that content, but it helps compartmentalize and help them zero in on what they could focus on and so forth. On the administrative side, so I have two parts of the department. We have the instructional design side, which was use those tools like Ava, AI automations, and things along those lines. But on the operations side, where we actually support faculty, staff, students, we're also using tools like, in this case, we use Microsoft Copilot, we use ChatGPT. We've actually started touching things with Perplexity, Notebook LM, and even this past weekend, I needed to create a VB script to actually conduct some activities, pulling data out and parsing it. I was able to actually just go in and prompt my way through that, and it actually generated this specific code. I added the VB script, and now I have one of my staff, Avery, working on that to help us with a process that we have forthcoming for summer A. So those are some of the ways we use it. I'm not a programmer. I was able to, within an hour, to create something that helped reduce how much time it would take Avery to go through those files. We have about 3,000 courses. It took a few seconds for it to process that, parse it out, and give us what we needed for us to be more efficient that way. So I think these kinds of tools in higher ed are going to reduce the amount of time we spend on mundane tasks, so that we can actually then start refocusing on the things that are important as well. So instead of spending time building everything from scratch, you now could use AI to generate a lot of those activities, and then we can kind of start focusing on what really is impactful, like maybe looking at student engagement, how we could improve things there, looking at faculty support. We're looking at different ways we could kind of help them, as opposed to spending all that time just with menial tasks trying to get those done.
And these really sound like cool features that are truly going to help the students, the faculty, the admin team to really change the game and really elevate the product that the institution delivers. But those weren't easy decisions by your team. Like, you had to do homework, you had to test, you had to read up what's best, what's worse. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Is it integratable? Is it not integratable? How did you decide, or what criteria did you look at when you were trying to evaluate if these tools were worth adopting? Like, were there some, have you seen technologies that solve problems or create opportunities that you didn't expect, or did you find ones that just were like not going to work out at all? They really weren't well thought out. Like, you had a whole process, correct?
Correct. I mean, whenever we approach technology, and in the case with the LMS, that's what we have. But I always keep opportunities open. I look at all LMSs. In this case, we have currently Blackboard Ultra, but I've looked at D2L, Brightspace. I've looked at Canvas, and looking at what they provide and what resources they have. And then obviously, if you're looking at change management, what does it cost that way? But generally, when I approach any specific tool, I'm looking at scalability, right? We're looking at, does it work across the entire institution? Is this something that's scalable that we could kind of test, pilot, and then see how we can move it across the institution if need be? It could be a publisher that's using some kind of new AI tool within the content that they use. We could test that, which we are doing right now with a product called Willow. And then once we see that it works, it could then easily be scaled across the institution. So all students, all faculty could take advantage where appropriate. The other thing we look at is student experience. So, we don't want to have a tool, a product, AI, it doesn't matter, that doesn't really have an impact just to say we have AI. So we're looking at the student experience in how it improves access, clarity, and engagement for that student. So is this tool going to really make a difference in how that student engages in the class? Is it going to help them in understanding the content better? And is it going to improve overall the ease of access to that specific tool? It makes no sense having a tool and it's complicated getting to it and using it. So simplicity is key. So any product that doesn't reduce complexity and just adds to it is not something that we consider in this regard. What's been surprising, though, is how AI has shifted from a concern to an opportunity, right? When everyone first started hearing of AI, everyone was concerned that it's going to take over, people are cheating and things along those lines. AI is here to stay, just like we got the calculator came and that took over. So how do we start using it? And more businesses, institutions are realizing it's not a detriment. It's actually something we could use if done correctly, right? So I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and I kind of look forward to where we're going with this. So it's pretty interesting.
The scale that you mentioned, the scalability, the experience and simplicity, is that something that any individual could use when evaluating any AI tool, regardless of the role, or is that more so when you're focusing on, education systems?
It could be in any capacity. Again, if it's an individual, obviously scalability might not be a consideration. If someone's just getting ChatGPT to spend $20 per month, you could look at it that way. But if you're looking at trying to implement something across multiple departments, multiple campuses and stuff, then you want to take that into context, right? You want to look at how scalable is it. It makes no sense building a product or getting something that added, and then when you realize you want to expand and have more people get access to it, it's a challenge to actually expand that, right? So scalability is always something you want to look at, but again, within context.
Looking to the future, what innovations do you think will have the biggest impact on the education system?
Well, I hate to say it, but everyone's saying AI, right? So AI is going to significantly revolutionize and is currently revolutionizing how higher ed functions, right? I believe AI is going to become embedded in everything. It's already becoming embedded in everything that we do, right? So it's not going to be a tool per se. It's just going to be part of the system. So eventually, it won't be a expectation. So per se, it'll be an expectation. Whenever you get a product, it has AI built in, and how is it going to work, right? So we don't want to have, right now, the way we currently are, and in the past, we had all these different systems. They never always communicated with each other. It presented challenges, data issues, and so forth. And this is where AI is kind of bringing things together so that we may be able to have an agent go through our LMS, learning management system, our student information system, procure all the necessary data and use that as its base to then identify struggling students, right? We may not have to have a set report that we run per se. We could have that agent trained to provide that to whomever within the hierarchy needs to get that information. So it could be looking at that instantaneously, adjusting and providing us the necessary information we have indicated we need to get. So it's no longer going to be a reactive process in higher ed. I think we're going to be proactive. We're going to know what's happening with our students at an instant in time. And we could address those, or the AI could actually address it. So if a student is struggling in math and needs some help with this specific area, the agent could actually be tracking this, seeing that Marcel is struggling with this or that, and present the student with specific content within the context of the course to try and help them improve those things. So now the student, or in some cases it could be on the faculty side as well, could be indirectly teaching themselves or getting the information they need to improve the specific outcomes. And then again, I'm circling back to the unified ecosystem where the LMS, data, communication, everything is connected. This is where, we've been dabbling with Perplexity, where you can actually connect all your systems to this AI. To literally just have it run things for you. You could literally have it respond to emails if you have preset things done like that. That's just increasing productivity. And just have it present to you things that it thinks you need to address. Yes, it's a little scary, but I think as more and more technology moves in this direction, I think it's going to become the norm. So I don't think it's more tools. I think it's going to be communicating, where we have better integrated tools. So I think is going to bridge that gap that we currently have and make things much more seamless and be a simpler experience for both the students, faculty, or whatever industry you're currently in.
Amazing. Thank you, Marcel, for taking the time to share some insights about what you and your team are doing here at the institution, because we know that this is a pattern at large that we're seeing other institutions also explore and look into much the same. So thank you, Marcel, for taking the time to be with us today.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
And if you guys have enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for journeying with us today on Keiser Voices, the story of success. As we close this chapter, remember, every story has its next page.